And welcome back to another exciting episode of DCAU Talkers, where we talk all things DCAU. My name is Brandon.
And my name is Ty.
And today we are kicking off episode 7, which was entitled Joker's Favor. It aired on September 11th, 1992. It was directed by Boyd Kirkland, which we'll see throughout this whole series. He directs a number of episodes. And it was written by Paul Dini and Gene McCurdy. And the synopsis of this episode goes as followed. When a timid accountant accidentally runs afoul of the Joker, he promises the Joker anything if the villain would only let him go. The cast for this: Batman, Bruce Wayne, of course, Kevin Conroy, Bob Hastings as Commissioner Gordon, Robert Costanzo as Director or Detective Bullock, Efren Zimbalist Jr., which is Alfred, Ed Beagley Jr., which we've talked about before in previous episodes. He was Germs and Vita Clay, the one that he's interrogating in the disease room and the blood samples and all that in Vita Clay. That's Ed
Huh?
Beagley Jr. He's Charlie. Mark Hamill. This is the first time air-wise we get Mark Hamill's Joker. And not only this is iconic because of this character here. This is the first appearance of Harley Quinn ever. She was never in comics. She was never in anything else. This is the first time we ever see Harley Quinn, who's played by Arlene Sorkin. I want to talk about her inspiration, and we'll kind of go into what we love about her character, because this is pretty influential about this episode. Now, Arlene Sorkin was the inspiration for this character. That's why it was so iconic for her to come over and voice her. Dini, who wrote the episode, it was actually a friend of Arlene Sorkin's in college. And Arlene Sorkin was known to be an actress on a soap opera called Days of Our Lives. There was an episode of hers where she played, I believe her name was like Calliope Jones or Calliope Jones, something like that. I can't remember her exact name, but during the episode that inspired Harley, it was a dream sequence where she was actually just walking around as a clown. She had it. It's really weird how to explain it, but that is what Deanie went off of and went, we're going to make Harley. And because of her voice and how she was, that's exactly the voice he wanted for Harley. So he asked Arlene Sorkin to come over and play Harley. Yeah. So let's talk about this, Ty, before we go more into the trivia section of this all. Can you believe this is her first episode ever, or her first appearance in anything? And how do you feel about it now being this came out in 92? So now it's like over
Yeah.
32 years.
Yeah.
32. Yeah,
Is it
30.
32? Yeah,
Yeah.
32.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Right on the math. Yeah, 32 years. Well, I watched it recently because I didn't remember watching it back when I was a young boy. It was actually pretty good, seeing like her character never changed. It still stuck to the iconic first idea of who he imagined her. But it's good to know that like there was like never anything he needed to improve of her over or later on. Everybody loved the first Harley Quinn. Pretty much is what I'm saying. Like that is pretty much one of his best iconic characters that never changed. Like Joker, on the other half, he has many personalities over the years, different characters designed, but Harley is always portrayed as the same person,
Yeah.
which is pretty nice. That's how I enjoy the episode of Harley's first appearance. He's still crazy, never changed.
So my experience with this, and and you know me enough, and I'm going to share it with the world here.
Yeah.
This, for a lot of people who don't know me, this is how I got into comics, was through the Batman the Animated Series. And this is actually the episode that my mom actually watched with me. This was one of the first episodes we ever watched when I was a kid, and she fell in love with the character Harley Quinn. It's the fact of just how funny she is, how she just the humor from her, and how strong she gets later on in the series, how stronger she gets as a character. It's just really fantastic. I love her dynamic through the whole series. I'm glad this is her first appearance, and I love the outfit here. This is probably my favorite Harley Quinn adaptation, period. Like over any other thing that's come out. Even Margot Robbie's, anything. It still goes back to the animated series for me. It's Sorkin, having that iconic red black dress or leotard that she has. It just is amazing. It's when I think Harley, that's exactly who I go to. Is that
I agree. Like, if someone were to ask me how to describe Harley, I'll probably describe her as this episode, you know?
like I know they try to do it in the movies. What was it? They did it with the Suicide Squad in a small like flashback scene, but
Hmm.
it just didn't. It did not look right live action. It looked better in an animated form. But it's time for our bet trivia for this episode. This was the seventh episode to air. It was the 22nd to be produced. And no reason why they put this one of the first episodes, because the thing is that this really too was not the first episode the Joker was supposed to be in, or was the first episode produced with the Joker in it. What episode do you think was the first to be produced?
Be a clown.
It's not Be a Clown.
Oh, really?
It's an
That
iconic.
makes sense. That makes sense.
It is an iconic one. It's an iconic episode that everybody watches. It's where you get the iconic Christmas song, Christmas with the Joker.
Okay.
And that was the second episode to be produced. But I believe it was like the 38th to be released.
I feel like they really dropped the ball on the way it released because I want to explain later about how I feel about the end, you know? So,
And we'll talk about that because I know
yeah.
like when we talk about another episode in the next weeks too, which is Be a
Yeah.
Clown, I'll even explain that more too. Why I was kind of like I out of all Joker's episodes, this is by far my favorite episode, Joker's favorite.
Harley?
But it's one of those episodes like I wish we would have had a little setup with
Yeah.
to lead to this point.
Yeah.
So let's go into this a little bit more. Let's go into a little bit more with Harley Quinn. Okay. According to Paul Dini, he created Harley Quinn because specifically in one episode, the Joker had a plot where he needed a girl accomplice. He just had to have a pretty girl bring a cake into the room like a showgirl and then leave. And we thought, well, in the TV shows, the villain usually had a mole with him. Why don't we make this character into something more? And that's according to Paul Dini. This is a quote from him. Okay. Now, the disguise Harley Quinn wears when she picks up Charlie from the airport. That's actually something another character wears in another animated show. And it was an inspiration as well. And on top of it, she also premiered in this show. This was her first time ever in shows and anything comic book related. It was Mercy Graves from the Superman the animated series, kind of like Lex's, like bodyguard, driver, things like that. The outfit
Okay.
Harley Quinn wears is what Mercy wears, exactly to the T. Harley's line about beauty school may suggest actually they had that her origins as a psychiatrist pretty much was not cemented yet. So remember in the line I shouldn't have dropped out from beauty school when Batman captures her at the end.
Okay.
Okay, that's they didn't cement her as a psychiatrist yet, which was pretty interesting. But it kind of shows you like maybe they were already preparing. Maybe it's just going to be a one-time thing. We don't know yet how popular she's going to be. Maybe they just threw something in there. And then it wasn't until I think it was like Mad Love, or I think it was more Mad Love, where they finally kind of like cemented her as a psychiatrist. That's how she met the Joker. Like we said, this is the first appearance of Mark Hamill as the Joker. Like we talk about in the air order, Mark Hamill played Boyle from Heart of Ice. Then this came out with the Joker. I was going to ask the question, can you believe Mark Hamill has voiced Joker for close to 30 years now?
I know.
And this is the guy who's known to play Luke Skywalker from Star Wars.
It's pretty good. Like, I never knew he was the voice of Joker until, like, I got older because, I didn't do a lot of, research. There was no Google, my age. But, it's great to to finally like idolize the man behind the voice, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
it it feels it feels good to know that he was also like another iconic character, like from Star Wars. Like it comes like I don't want to say a full circle, but it just makes you appreciate him more, knowing like he was my first Joker to hear his voice, and then my love for Star Wars. Not as much as you, you're a bigger Star Wars nerd, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean, though. It's so, like, like we said, Harley Quinn has had actresses left and right play or voice her. Tara Strong kind of being one of the main ones nowadays. But the Mark Hamill is just iconic. Like, if I had to put Jokers on a pedestal, this would be one or two up there for me. It's Heath Ledger and him
Mhm.
back and forth as a Joker interpretation. You know, but that's what I said. It's a really good way to think about it. And you know what, Mark Hamill, it really shows you. Now, I got a question for you. Did you actually know who actually was supposed to be lined up to play the Joker originally?
I think you told me, but I can't remember the name.
It was Tim Curry. Now,
Oh,
Tim
there you go.
Curry, if you
Yeah.
don't know who that is Pennywise the Clown from the original It. That he was supposed to do, and supposedly he came down with the flu or something during auditions. And Mark Hamill was supposed to play a different character. I think Boyle was one of them, and then he was supposed to play another villain. But then they liked his laugh so much that they ended up giving it to him. Now we'll have a hint to Tim Curry in a couple episodes, and be a clown. But that was kind of an interesting way to put it.
Okay.
Now we'll talk about this. Now we already kind of talked about Christmas with the Joker was the first one to be produced. This was actually the fourth one to be produced for Joker episodes. It wasn't even the first three. It was the fourth.
I
Okay.
could kind of see it because like after watching this one and Be a Clown, it doesn't really
Exactly.
fit well. It doesn't fit well for me.
It
I'll
doesn't.
explain later. You know.
Yeah. Now, the last couple of things we have Charlie Collins' driver's license. Okay. Says he lives in Gotham Estates, New York. Assuming this is a suburb of Gotham City, this would put Gotham either in New York or in one of the 5 states adjoining it. Supposedly, the official DC canon, which again, can we or can we not trust canon? We never know. States puts it in New Jersey. Now, there's going to be two characters that we see. There was a scene when they're remember the scene where they're driving, the two crooks are driving when Charlie's in witness protection and Joker's calling him. There's two
Yeah.
characters in the background that we're going to see in a later episode named Sherman Grant and Roberta. And we're going to see them in the episode I've Got Batman in My Basement. We'll see them in a later. This will kind of go into some of the moments I enjoyed. I know, Ty, I have a feeling this is also going to make your list. But the last bat trivia thing I have is this is one of the only few instances where you see Batman laugh.
Yeah.
What was it? That's what I say. He does laugh in a couple other episodes. Mad Love, he does it when he's provoked by Harley Quinn. And then Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker, he does it. But
Okay.
this is one of the only episodes where you see it. And it's a funny scene. It's one of the best scenes in the thing. So I think it's time for us to go into our bat-tastic moments. I think the first thing we got to talk about is the laugh and the last scene of the episode. Because that by far was one of my favorite parts of this episode was Charlie psyching out Joker. So bad. like and then I love the scene. Batman. he's holding, and then he's standing there in the shadow. He goes, "How long have you been standing?" One of my favorite moments with Joker and Batman the series is
Yeah.
because he is so freaked out by Charlie for how much Joker has with Charlie.
Yeah.
And Charlie just comes back just like, I'm tired of this. Like,
Sweet revenge. Yeah. I like that scene, but also hate that they put it as his first appearance because Joker is supposed to be the one that does all the mind stuff, but to show him that as his first episode, right?
Mhm.
Showing that he's the one that's getting the mind trick is it's kind of a letdown for me. That's why, they really dropped the ball on like releasing the order of the episode because it was a funny scene for Batman, but it was a bad one for Joker in my opinion because it just makes him like, oh, he's doesn't seem like that good until you like watch his other episodes.
And I see your point there. Like it's kind of like you wish you would have gotten some of these other episodes to set him up.
Yeah,
And
because it's too soon, you know what I mean? It's too soon.
like, and I see where you're coming from with that. That does make sense. Yeah, and because I've talked with you even before, this is by far my favorite Joker episode. This is like this and Christmas with the Joker are right like neck and neck. I think one of the things I enjoyed about this episode, it wasn't a Batman centric episode. It was Charlie. It was Joker. It was, but I agree with what you're saying. Like for it to be the first one to air, and we don't have anything on Joker before that,
Mhm.
it kind of felt a little meaningless. It doesn't mean it's not a great episode. It just
Yeah,
we
it's
want.
still a great episode, but the way they just put that episode as his first one, they build up all this things about Joker already, like, oh, he's manipulated, but there's not really a lot of background. Like, Batman already knew Joker, this and that. He just didn't have a great taste, in my opinion. Like the way, like, yeah, let's just throw it. Like whoever put these episode out clearly did not watch the episode.
Well, I think the thing is, and we've talked about that because remember the first produced episode was on Leather Wings, but the first one to release was Cat in the Claw.
Yeah.
And we know why that happened, but with this episode, it kind of made me feel like, okay, why couldn't we have gotten other stuff before?
Hmm.
Like, I'm not saying put Christmas with the Joker because Christmas with the Joker really should have been your Christmas special, but it's a
Yeah.
thing of build us up a little bit. Like, I'd rather say it, and I'll talk about this episode later. We'll talk about it later on. Is be a clown. I'd have rather seen that to be one of the first episodes of Joker to really see how maniacal he can be
Hmm.
and then maybe set up the laughing fish. But the laughing fish, it's weird because of how it ends. We know he
Hmm.
comes back, but supposedly he falls in the water and we can't find him, kind of thing. Which is another great episode, the
Well,
Joker.
he also fell in the end of be a clown too. So
Yeah, but that one you kind of knew that was going to happen. The one when we get to it, there actually is signs like it's showing like he might have been killed, but we don't know, and they kind of showed that later on.
but do you see how it doesn't make sense to them for to release Joker's favorite and then be a clown because
Yeah,
they arrested Joker and Joker's favorite, then he's like not arrested and be a clown. There was like no break-in, you know what I mean?
right. I
And
agree.
be a clown, you don't see him get arrested. You just see him fall down in the water.
Agreed. I totally agree with you there. Like I said, the only reason I like the episode more is I love Charlie. Charlie is just a fun character to watch. And when you get that first moment with him where he's in the car pissed off at life, I didn't get the promotion at work. My kid needs breakfast and my wife's making meatloaf. It's just those moments that make you feel like he's just a normal human being. He's just like us, even though I like meatloaf. Don't
Hmm.
trash on meatloaf.
All right. I
Yeah,
got you.
I like that in my
Mhm.
baked potatoes, man. Mm,
Yeah,
I'll do
you
the
can eat.
Hannibal
Yeah.
Lecter thing there again. It's just so good. But but the thing is with this episode, it's like when you get those moments when the cops are driving past him and then Batman force past him, oh yeah, just leave leave Charlie off to the side, leave this. Then all of a sudden when Joker comes up like, this is why you don't road rage, buddy. Because stuff
Hmm.
like this happens, and then you're gonna cause an even bigger incident. Like, and Joker, I'm gonna put it here. This is one of Joker's creepier episodes because that whole him stalking him through the car was creepy. Like just following him every which way, and he knew exactly where he'd be and everything. This whole episode I felt was great in the way of showing Joker and the fact that he is such not only a charismatic villain, but very creepy villain because he can show you like I don't forget things and I
Yeah,
have
he done.
out stuff. You know, you can sit here and run from me all you want. I'm gonna find you. And how he just taunts and just makes Charlie's life a miserable hell is just so well done. Like it put Charlie in witness protection for, you know, witness protection. It's one of those things like it shows you how much the Joker screwed with him. And that's why I said like it's like I love the scene when they actually confront each other in the woods. And when he's like, "Oh yeah, here's my wallet. Take the money," he goes, "Don't insult me." You know, like he goes,
That was a good scene. Yeah.
it's like, "Don't insult me. I don't have much cash, but please take what I have." Or when he throws the 2 cents at him, he goes, "Here's your 2 cents." Now, what were you saying about me? It's just those moments with Mark Hamill's Joker that you just love. He does it really well. He can perform it really well. It's just really great to see that, you know. And the other thing is, it's like I said, when he calls Charlie, when he finds out he's in witness protection and he's in Ohio now, those notes that he has on there, yeah, Don Wilson, you know, all this, and at the bottom it goes, yeah, he owes me a favor. Like it's just, it makes you laugh, and I enjoy it a lot. Ty, what are some moments that you enjoyed about this episode?
You cover pretty much all the parts where Joker shows his goofy sides too, like the little giggles of the, owe me his favor, like him keeping track on it for like what, 2 years, right? 2 years.
Yeah, two
It's
years.
it's
It was 2 years
it's,
down.
it's, it's crazy to know like, oh, Charlie finally got away, but like no, Joker still had tabs on him, like it just makes you wonder, like you can never like turn your back. You never know who's watching you. Like, who does Joker have? They've watching for 2 years, know where he lives. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
mm,
and I think that's a good point to bring up because it kind of hints back to what that you were kind of upset that this was the first episode
yeah,
put out. Having that 2 year span, you don't think those other episodes could have been taking place? You see what I'm saying? Like, okay, he
yeah,
surrounds Charlie, and then during those 2 years, all the other episodes take place per se.
yeah, probably. But I still don't like, in the beginning where the driving, the road rage, that he knew that was Joker. Like for me, if I were like, who's that? But
Who
yeah, who's that? But
was that? You
I
know,
like, I like to see when Harley's bringing in the cake, right? And then that police officer, he's trying to hit on her, and I think she hits him, and he gets mad.
the
Like,
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe there was this. I believe so. When the cake was brought in, I forgot to bring this up in the trivia section. It was supposed to be Joker and drag, and
okay,
they cut that out and put him in his normal suit. By the way, I'm gonna put it out there. I love Joker with his trench coat and his hat. I don't know why, but that flatters him. Like
mm,
it's just fun to watch him with that. It like when he in the beginning of the show where he's wearing that trench coat and that little flat hat. I love that. I was like, that's just that to me is Joker. Like when you think of Joker too during that time, you had Jack Nicholson's Joker, and that's what he
mm,
wore too. Just those moments just make you laugh and enjoy it. I didn't really have any other complaints about the episode. I kind of was like, for what it was, I never felt like I was not entertained. I felt
yeah,
like watching a story, not even central, like we said, not centric on Batman. Batman was a character in it, and Batman was the one that kind of foiled the plans, but it was still Charlie and Joker's story.
yeah,
Like even the bomb when he goes, "Oh, it went outside." I think we got a bat problem. You know, I can smell a bat coming, you know. Charlie even coming up with a way to get Batman to go back or Bruce to go back. was like he found like a bat kind of shaped thing in the museum portion of it and shined it in the window.
Hmm.
That was clever. I was like, Charlie's thinking here. Like, because you hear him from the beginning of the episode, right? I wish there was a way I could just call him. I wish there was a way I could do stuff.
Mm.
You could tell Charlie's afraid, and we see that through this whole episode.
That,
We
that's a good foreshadowing.
yeah, like we see that he's totally scared. And when you see that where he's like, there has to be something I could get somebody like him's attention.
Yeah.
And he's the thing that looks like a bat. So he puts it up in the window, and then when the Bruce is driving off, he goes, I think you're being called or summoned back. And then he sees it and he goes, okay, something's up,
Yeah.
you know.
That's pretty good.
And all he was begging Charlie do was open the door. That's all he
Yeah.
was. Chuck was just bringing him back so he can open the door, and then he was just going to kill him anyway.
Yeah. Got his hand stuck to the doorknob.
Yeah, I didn't understand. So let me explain this. If you're planning to do this,
Could have just used anybody?
what? Well, like the gas going off and
Yeah.
stuff. Why did Harley give him a mask?
Huh.
If you were planning to do that, right? Why give him a mask? That was one of the only things like if you're just planning on, I hate saying it like that, but that's kind of what the Joker was doing with Commissioner Gordon's party that he was doing and everything like that, like honoring Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
And that was the other thing I enjoyed is that Joker wanting to honor Commissioner Gordon because he has given Gotham Police Force more hours of amusement than anybody else. Makes me laugh every time I hear it because it's like, bro, that's sad. But that was my thing. Going back to that, it's like you were planning on killing Charlie. Why did you give him a mask?
Mm. Give him false hope.
Possibly, but you stuck his hand to the door.
Yeah, false hope, you know? He knows about Joker's plan, what he wanted him to do, give him a mask. Oh, guess what? I lied. You're you're stuck to the door.
Stick to the door. That was my goal all along. That's my favorite. But that whole last scene with him when Batman helps him and gets the bomb out and everything, and you have those
Yeah.
with him liking out Joker. I just loved it. And then Batman's like, ha, ha, ha,
Yeah.
ha. And he goes, that wasn't funny. It was to us. And then he tells Charlie go home and goes, oh, I thought I'd never say that. I wonder what I forgot his wife's name, but he's like, I hope she's maybe Meatloaf. It's
Big love.
it's like, but that song for him is just iconic. Every time I hear that song, I'm like, that's Charlie. Like that is straight up Charlie and Batman the Animated Series. Like I love throughout the series that they actually make themes for all the villains and all the characters. And I love that. Like Scarecrow has a theme. Batman does. I think Two-Face does. Joker does. That's a it's just those
Okay.
you laugh. But it kind of gives you that sense like Scarecrow, and we'll talk about it as like that psycho type of theme, like it's
Yeah.
just really
The-
great.
Like
Charlie
a horror theme.
and Joker's is funny and Charlie's was funny. Like it's just those, it was just a great episode.
Oh yeah.
But let's talk about this, Ty. Let's go into if we change things today. Ty, what would you change?
Just the order when it was sent out because like I said, it didn't feel right, you know, just seeing Joker get mine. It's so hard to not say the F word without making it sound like good. Without getting mine freaked,
Yeah,
you know, himself, you know,
I see what you're saying.
family friendly. Family friendly.
I would probably put this as maybe like the third episode. I would have played out the first, like, be a clown, and I would have played out maybe Christmas with the Joker.
Mhm.
Then I would have put out.
Because the reason is he already has his little gang, you know. Well, after watching Be a Clown, he was pretty much just by himself.
Right.
And just watching, like, oh, he has his gang. Joker's second appearance is like, oh, he's by himself.
Well, see, that's why I said that one in Christmas with the Joker, he's by himself.
Yeah, that's why it didn't feel right, you know.
But that's why I said the Christmas with the Joker is hard too because Batman has Robin in that episode.
Okay.
So that
And we
was
don't see
like,
Robbie yet.
yeah, Robin didn't come in till later on, so it kind of was weird how they did it.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. That's probably the only thing I'd change is maybe the timing.
Mm-hmm.
I would have done this a little differently too, but I didn't really have, like I said, I didn't have a lot of critiques other than nitpicking.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like it was a bad episode. This is by far, like I said, one of my favorite Joker episodes. In my top 3 Joker episodes of this series. But that's why I said it's a great episode. I don't have nothing to say more about it. I wished he was freaking out. I wish Joker was freaking out more when Charlie was
Mm.
doing it and said, "Bah!" you know. I wish he was like, "Oh, thank God," or something like a thank you. or something like that, because you want to think he would say that to Batman of all
Yeah.
people. But now, okay, so let's go ahead and rank it from 1 to 10 bats. Where are you putting it?
Probably an eight.
Okay,
An eight.
okay. I'm gonna go with the 9. I do enjoy
Nine.
this out of all episodes. Like I said, I think there's only one beat it out by a little bit, and that's Christmas with the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
But 9 I felt was solid. The timing is what made it kind of like
Yeah.
there. But yeah, I'd give it a 9. I think it was a great episode, and it was Joker and Charlie centric. Batman was a side character, and that's what made
Yeah.
it. But yeah, fans, I think this is a great way to end out our podcast for this. Let us know what you guys think about Joker's Favor. Do you wish the timeline was different? What do you love about Harley Quinn? Also, too, rest in peace, Arlene Sorkin. Check us out on Comic Talkers on Instagram, Facebook, Clapper, Blue Sky, to stay up to date with us. Also, check us out on YouTube. Subscribe and hit the bell notification. Also, check us out for other great comic book and anime content, also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And without further ado, my name is Brandon.
I'm tired.
And remember, we are vengeance. We are the night. We are DCAU Talkers.
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf.